one of my favorite top 10 former interns who recently turned an advocate, asked this question in one of the comments, so I thought I'll definitely answer this one. He asked, what is the right time to go independent? And I've actually come up with a calculation for lawyers on what would be the right time to leave your senior in a chamber practice setup, which most litigation lawyers are, and to go independent. The calculation is as follows. You need to have a minimum of a few appearances, a few cases. But that's the problem is I have a lot of free time. So what am I supposed to do in this kind of a situation? I want to keep learning, right? That's the most important thing. And what else am I supposed to do with my time when I am not going to court, when I don't have my, I don't have my matters? Well, there are several other things to consider apart from just thinking about, the number of matters that I have, the amount of revenue that I have. A lot of hidden costs of having your own independent practice. One obviously is the office cost, which you can split up with other fellow advocates who are looking to kind of combine some office legal space. And I've seen a lot of lawyers do this, right? They'll pull in a few thousand rupees and they'll get in an office and they'll kind of start working together, which is great. And they can collaborate because if you've got say 2 or 3 hearings in a day on one of those God forbid days, you can ask one of your other fellow advocates who don't have maybe an appearance on that day to go and help you out with this. But there are other hidden expenses as well, such as the cost of having an office clerk that does pile up, and you will eventually need an office clerk because there is a lot of miscellaneous, filing work, certified copy work, certified, orders, the filling out the process fee forms, and filing them. There's so much to be done, which you will need a clerk for. Maybe you can have law students interning with you do this, but inevitably you will have law school exams, because of which interns will disappear. And then you also need to maybe have, especially at a certain stage, you need to have law students coming in, so stipends to them or taking care of their miscellaneous expenses is something that you need to factor in as well. Apart from that, there is you need to have a little bit of a decent office setup to be able to have clients who can come and have a little faith in the fact that this person is not going to be getting up and moving on to a different career trajectory anytime soon in life. Although those notions of having a library in your office to show clients, and you having to to have like an office staff to show to your clients, those days I feel are gone, especially post pandemic. The flexibility of office spaces, online work, virtual meetings, in all of this, it's become a little better, a little more easier for advocates. There's other aspects to it as well. You are working with your senior and you're like, okay, I'm able to do a little bit of my work, but the senior's work takes up a huge chunk of my time. I would also encourage you to think of partnering up with your senior. What I mean is, you have a few matters, but you don't have the infrastructure to be able to support just a few matters. But your senior having far more matters can, with their infrastructure, help you out with your cases, and you can help them out with giving them your free time, your labor, and your productivity. So even if you are in a chamber practice setup already, seniors being a little flexible, and obviously we've all seen and heard of those seniors who are completely inflexible, my way or the highway, no work of yours, or my cases take a priority over your cases. Those problems are definitely there. But if you're able to come up with a more flexible arrangement, I have seen some great synergy. And frankly, here and there I've heard of the senior in that chamber practice setup inculcating or absorbing the junior as, say, a junior partner, or in some sort of an equity arrangement as well. So there are a lot of permutations and combinations which are possible. Frankly, I'll narrate this story as well. When I, a few years ago started having juniors, I used to tell them that my goal is for me to, within say 6 months to 12 months, teach you all that I know about the practice of law, and then I'll encourage you to go out into the world and make your own mark. But now my philosophy has changes significantly, because now what I have been doing is I've been trying to foster long term relationships with my juniors, my associates. Nowadays, I think the best designation for them is, chamber partner. And I feel that, one associate's been with me, chamber partner, in fact, senior chamber partner, has been with me for about 6 years now. There's been one who's been with me for about 4 years, one for about another, 3.5 years. So I've got long-term relationships with incredible lawyers. They understand how I work. I understand their strengths, their weaknesses. And overall, I feel, sometimes, if I'm making this long video and you're bearing with me till now, I feel that I'm at such an incredible comfort zone when it comes to, my amazing team, right? I think that I would not want to, let this go. I would not want them to be, independent, because obviously they are independent, right? They have independence of thought. They have independence to go ahead with strategy, to, argue matters, right? Almost all of my team members, like, I send them in for arguments everywhere. And I've seen such beautiful synergy. I don't think of them as my juniors at all, right? I am thinking of this as a team. There are senior chamber partners, there are junior chamber partners. And to whatever extent, earlier, obviously, when someone used to say junior, I would not want to call it that. When someone used to say, oh, he's my, he's my, I used to refer to them as associates. Nowadays, I'm thinking even associate sounds a little not as, respectful as it could be. So perhaps, this video was ought to be, was about, should I go independent or not? But I think it's turned into, should I try to be a junior partner at this chamber or not? And I think that's the way to go. Perhaps law firms got it right, all this time after all.